Hey, I'm Ray with RaJen Adventures. Here recently I went to sanitize my water system on my Jayco and realized I really don't like the freshwater drain system that it has. I'm going to show you what I did to change it. I have two freshwater drain points on the side of my Jayco, and under there you can see there is a freshwater drain, and this is for the refrigerator ice maker in my residential refrigerator, and over here is the holding tank freshwater drain. What I want to do is I want to change this plastic drain that only allows it to drain straight down onto the ground, and I want to put in a drain so I can attach a water hose to it and I can take it away, because currently it drains straight out onto the ground below, and I would like to drain it away from the RV. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the clamp. Things I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this clamp right here to allow me to unloosen this hose. And I'll take these two screws off, which just holds this bracket. That bracket then holds the valve. Then I'll figure out exactly the best placement for my new valve. Okay, I've taken off the plastic drain line and the bracket, and then I'm going to reroute down the frame to this area, right in this area here. The reason I'm picking this route is that this way I don't have to crawl all the way under the RV to drain the tank itself. Now what I have here is what I'm going to try to use is the ball valve or washing machine angled valve. We'll mount it to the undercarriage. I'm going to put a piece of blue PEX line in between here, and because I'm going from this PVC pipe, I had to use a threaded and a clamp. So what I'll do is I'll end up deciding exactly the length I want in here for my PEX pipe. Once I figure that out, I'll put all the system together. Then I'll take the PVC pipe that comes out of the drain where the white plastic drain is, and I'll put this pipe into that, and then I can attach a garden hose to this area and I can run it away from the RV itself. So when you use the thread tape on the threads, you want to put it in a clockwise rotation. If you look at it this way, it's a clockwise rotation, because when you put the nut on itself, or the actual pipe fitting here, onto the threaded, it is going in a clockwise rotation to be placed on there. If you put the thread tape on in a counterclockwise rotation, when you put the nut on the threads, or this adapter onto the threads, there is a possibility of the thread not feeding properly because the tape would bulge up inside the nut. So what I found works best for me is taking the threads and holding them and putting in this tight position. Look at the threads, and you're gonna roll it on and roll it on one time, fairly easy. Okay, now you wanna, and you look at it in a clockwise manner like this, and you're gonna turn on and just feed it on. And I'm gonna turn it this way because it makes it easier. And you're gonna just turn the threads on with a little bit of pressure, about 4 complete turns. Tear it off, and this is what your end up product. And what I was talking about earlier is when you turn against the tape, you would start to bundle this underneath your threads inside your nut. So by putting it on in a clockwise manner, the thread goes on in a clockwise manner, and it doesn't bind on the inside. Now that I have this on, I'll have the white hose that comes out of the drain on here. This piece will run down the length of the RV until I want to, this blue pipe right here, into the actual drain where I matched up. And this can be as far as you want it to be. I'm going to figure out the best place I want it and how to best secure it. And I'll show you that process here very shortly. The good thing about using a PEX fitting like this, it is just a push and it's locked in. Cut it to the length to make sure so flush in, not an angle cut, straight across, and push in this side over here. So you'll just push these two together and it makes a good water. Now one of the things I'm not really worried about is a strong bind on this, because this is only a drain valve. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to place that on. I'm going to use the clamp to make sure it's good and tight. One of the things that I don't want to do, this is a gas line down through here, so I want to make sure I do not make it where this clamp rubs that gas line in any diverse way. So I need to make sure I'm going to be in this area, because that gas line is what the outdoor grill, and this bottom piece could possibly rub that. So what I want to do is make sure I'm not rubbing that in any way. what I'm going to do is put a piece of foam between here to make sure that doesn't happen, or some type of buffer between these two. Now, as I say, one of the things I don't like is I have to come all the way under here to release my water out of my holding tank. Get way under here. It's easy when the slide is closed, but when the slide is open, there's a problem. So the difference between these two locations is about 3.5 feet. And so what I'm going to do is mount it back in this area. I feel like it'll be a good place to mount. The spare tires actually lower than this valve, so not too worried about hitting something. If I go to hit something, it's going to mess up my gas lines. It's going to mess up the spare tire should hit first. And I have a bumper about 3 foot back in that direction too that hangs down. So I think this will end up being the best location for me, and it's a good drain area. Now I will say this fifth wheel is a more of a what I would consider a 3 seasons RV. So in the freezing months, this pipe is a chance to freeze. It's against a piece of steel, but I already have this area up here that's the same way. And we winterize our unit, and so this is exposed just like this will be. Now the biggest difference is this is not under any pressure. This is under pressure due to it is our water line going to our refrigerator. So I feel pretty comfortable to matching it in this area. So this is a 5 foot pipe, and I'm going to mount it somewhere about up in that area. Understanding these PEX fittings, these fittings are very easy. You don't have to have any clamps or anything. There's on the inside of the fitting. Inside the fitting is a little white piece. That white piece goes inside the pipe, and it just pushes down and locks into place. Push real hard, and that side's finished. That's all it is to get it connected. At this point, it's where I'm going to manipulate and find out where I want my actual drain pipe to be. I think I want it about right in this area here, which is very easy to reach in right at the end of the slide. The end of the slide is right here, probably about another about a half a foot this direction. So I'm going to put it right in this area here. So I'm going to cut it off, and I'm going to take that piece and slide it in, and then I'm going to mount it right into the frame there with 2 small screws. I'll use self-tapping screws, but I will use a pre-drill it out because the frame is a pretty good size frame. So I'll pre-drill just a little bit, and then we'll clean up the rest of this area here from hanging down, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Show you the completed process. What I did was came from right here, and there was a plastic valve to drain our water tank. I've rerouted that plastic drain down this pipe down to the valve back here, where I can reach it from standing right outside the back of the slide. I understand that I wrapped this in foam, not because of the possibility of freezing. I already have exposed pipe up here and right here, which runs to my refrigerator. This foam is the foam is secured to the pipe, then it's secured on the metal fitting area around these two areas, so these two can't move back and forth. It is secured to this area, and the reason it is here is because this is a gas line, and this gas line, I did not want to have any abrasions against it. Even though it's very little, you know, it's an earthquake going down the road. So what I did was come out of here and come down, and it is not for installation. And here's my shut-off valve. So to show you again, my shut-off valve was way over there, and I would have to crawl under there about 4 feet. Now I can reach it. Now I can reach it right here, and this will allow me to attach a garden hose and drain it right out. I think I'm gonna put a cap on the end of this, possibly, to keep any dirt out of it. I wanted you to see what I used during this installation. I used a washing machine angle valve with PEX fittings, a PEX adapter to go to the barbed adapter with the clamp, and then the PEX pipe. We named our channel RaJen for Ray and Jennifer. And thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing.